Okay, so I'm just going to show a demo on Cure. I want to explain a bit of Cure. Maybe it matters less now that Cure isn't in the QuakeCon map pool, but it's still going to be played competitively after QuakeCon at least. So it's a game I had versus Rafa. I show this game not to stroke ego or anything like that. I just want to show kind of how Cure is different. Oh, let me do that. How Cure is different from other maps in terms of how to keep control, how to gain control, and stuff like that. So I don't think I ever play out of control in this map, but it's mostly about keeping control anyways. So this is a game. The game was winter bracket final against Rafa in the April Dual Cup, North American Dual Cup. So we'll play out the first bit, and then I want to kind of talk about rotation. So just remember red, green. It's pretty slick, right? All right, red, green, yellow. We'll remember that. So we know red is coming up, and we can assume that Rafa took his green pretty much on time, since that's how it usually happens. So anyways, we get that. We decide, we need LG, so we'll swap greens. He'll get my green, I get his green, but I get this LG, and then I have positioning on the Mager. Now, red, green, green. Shards, yellow. Remember that. Red, green, green, shards, yellow. So that's essentially what I'm remembering right now. Oh, thanks for following, man. I have full control right now, but I want to perpetuate it, and a thing on Cure is just not letting your opponent have any stack. So we said red, green, green, shards, yellow. So let's see what we do. Red, green, and we decided to go yellow first and then back to shards. So we got red, green, yellow, shards. So that's kind of the cycle we're going right now. I actually wasn't thinking if he took his green or not, but let's not worry about the exact times. We're just worrying about the cycle right now. So we're back for red. Now you can notice I'm trying to take damage. I'm trying to take damage as much as possible. Well, maybe that's not the right way to say that. Whenever I can swap some damage with him, I'm going to do it, because that allows me to pick up little items like these shards. Mostly just the shards, so I can control shards. But, and these health bubbles as well. These are important to control when you can. But we're just keeping the cycle of red, green, yellow, shards. And we want to work in that last green into the cycle, but can't quite do it yet. So we got red. I only worry about armor because on this map Mega is so hard to take out of control. You have to know perfectly when your opponent's going to leave the room and enter it again. But so let me talk a little bit about. So I've been focusing on the cycle of the items so far, and you may ask, well, why is that so important? On Cure, there's more armor on Cure than there is on any other dual map, pretty much. There's 455 armor, I think, off the top of my head. No, that doesn't sound right. 255, yeah. And then you add in the health stack. So, essentially every 25 seconds, 225 armor, or 45, 55 armor is spawning every 25 seconds on this map. And there's only 2 players to get that armor. That's kind of ridiculous. So how I like to play Cure is I like to just take damage. Let my opponent do damage to me, but make sure I'm on every single item. So I'm getting 255, well, probably not that, probably like around 200 armor every 25 seconds, while my opponent can only get up to 55. So that's why I'm so I really want to trade every chance I can get. I just want to trade my stack. You see, I trade here, LG fight, I'll trade my stack here. Because I can come back, there's plenty of items on this map. And now my stack is low enough that I can pick up my 200 armor and my 100 health. So, that's kind of why Cure is really hard to rush off of, unless you really have your mind about the items, is because just everything spawns so quickly. So now I'm going to come back to red, but then all the other small items are kind of not spawning for a while, so I'm going to try to take it a little bit slower. But anyways, Cure is like a donut, sort of. You know, the middle, you can't really access it. It's just, you know, solid. You run around the middle in either direction. And you can think of, I've done this before, so if you've watched my stream before, you've probably heard this analogy, but if you think of Cure as a donut, you eat around the donut. It's inefficient to go to the left and then to the right and then to the left and to the right until you make your whole way around. You just keep going counterclockwise or clockwise around the donut. And so that's how you pick up items on Cure, is you kind of just make a lap of the map. And every time you get a frag, if you remember the cycle of the items, you can make a lap of the map and be stacked enough for the next major item that your opponent can't rush you up the spawn reasonably, you know, if they do something ridiculous. But, so you eat around the donut, but the thing is, Cure is not a regular donut. Unfortunately, regular donuts do not regenerate themselves every 25 seconds like Cure does. So that's where, you know, remembering the... Oh, this rocket jump's kind of funny, I remember it. Remembering the cycle comes into play, is... you know, you eat around it once, but you want to remember it from last time, so you can eat around it again once you get low. See, I'm pretty stacked here. I'm going to take some damage. It's fine by me. Red's about to come up. And then I remember the cycle, so I'm just going to eat around the donut once again. This is less about the map. I'm just kind of showing Cure. This is less about the game on Cure and more just general theory of Cure. In regards to the items, you know, there's a lot of things that just take time to learn, like spawns and positions where you can do damage and stuff like that. But this is more just how to control Cure. Is you can just remember the cycle pretty much on this map. Not too much to time. You can time 3 items if you want. The Mega, the red, and the yellow armor, and just remember the greens and the shards from the cycle. But yeah, you just continue to eat around the donut. Every time you get a frag, do a lap. As long as items are coming up and you know they're coming up. If you pick up every item and then your opponent spawns where the items are going to start coming up again, then you kind of got to slow down and realize, okay, I may be out of control here. But, so you can kind of see I took down a pretty good player. You may have heard of him. His name is SK Rafa. Just by knowing when the first kind of trigger would start, where the items would come up again in the 25 seconds. And then I'd wait to fight him until I had a big stack and the items were about to come up. Then once the items were about to come up, I'd make sure to deplete my whole stack so I had enough room for growth in order to pick up all the items again. Because you do want to control the shards that are easy to grab. It's really easy out of control to get armor on Cure. So that's why if you have really good mind about the items, you can really just blow up the game, kind of like I did against Rafa there. So, am I going to QuakeCon? I'll get to that in a second. But anyways, that's kind of Cure theory in regards to keeping control and just kind of pain training the map. You know, you get on your train and you do the loop around the map, and if your opponent's in your way, he just gets run over. There's nothing he can really do. Now on the flip side of that, playing defensively, You just got it. You can't get tricked into thinking your opponent's low and rushing him continually, because Rafa kind of did that in some situations where he thought I was lower than I was because I was picking up every shard in every green. And if you are picking up every shard in every green, your opponent will mistakenly think you're less stacked than you really are, because it's deceiving how much armor you can get on that map in such a short time. But yeah, that's the end of that. Now let me look at my notepad. I did want to talk about a few things.